Good morning, class. So, as I told you that here in this class we will discuss theme. So, please take out your book, page number 88. Discuss this theme, daffodils, and make me sure that you all have taken out. Okay. So, as there are two themes only in this poem, we will discuss, and after that we will move towards question answer based on the poem. So, the first theme is influence of nature on man. Influence of nature on man. When we read the poem Daffodils, we can feel highly influenced on Wordsworth of the nature. How he had been much influenced, you know, by the nature, by that flower and the surroundings, what he had seen in 1802. Okay, in the Lake District. So, influence of nature on man. Here, Wordsworth, as you know, we know that he is a romantic poet who often celebrate magical quality, the magical quality of nature in his poems. So, when we read William Wordsworth, we know that he is a nature poet, a romantic poet who always explore and celebrate the musical quality of nature in his poetry. Clear. He used a number of nature images like clouds, lakes, hills, stars, etc. When we read him, we read somewhere nature's elements, the elements of nature like clouds, hills, and valleys, some flowers, trees, and all to depict the influence of nature on man. So these elements are used when we read William Wordsworth so that they shows the influence of nature on man, how much they are influenced so that they have been used these things in their poetry. Okay. For him, there is nothing which is superior to nature. For William Wordsworth, there is nothing is superior to nature. So he is thinking that nature is all and all. The poem begins with the poet wandering lonely like a cloud as soon as he sees the daffodils growling along the margin of the bay, fluttering and dancing. He is captivated by their beauty, and he says a poet could not but be gay in in such a jocund company. So when he says that a poet could not see but be gay. He can become happiness when he have such types of jocund company, a pleasure of a company which gives him pleasure. Okay, the poet has compared himself to a cloud, and the daffodils have been personified as human beings dancing and tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. This is how Wordsworth has depicted the inherent unity between man and nature. So when we see, we find that how the inherent beauty can be felt, can be seen in the poetry of Wordsworth. So at the beginning, here the poem Daffodils describe the healing and refreshing power of nature. Healing and refreshing power of nature, and that can be said in that last stanza how he heal when the poet is intensive mood, then it can be same. So when we read the lines, here the lines are in the last stanza. Let me see in the book. Okay. So for often when my couch I lay. So for often when my couch I lay, in vacant or in pensive mood, when my mood becomes free, and when I am in the mood in which there is a lot of thoughts including in my mind, so the flash upon, so that nature's always come into my eye, that flashes come what I have seen in the sight regarding daffodils and all. So in that mood, so that becomes, a type of refreshing thing for writer Wordsworth. Clear. So the poet says that when he lies down on his couch in a pensive mood, the images of golden daffodils flashes before him and changes his mood. The poet who was lonely in the beginning of the poem experiences the bliss of the solitude by the end. He then feels calm and refreshed, and this is how nature influences him. So how he felt peaceful and he feel calm and peace when he remind the beauty of the nature. So in this way we can see that how the nature influence on man, how nature influences on Wordsworth, so that whenever he will be in his free time or in his pensive mood, the flash of the beauty of nature came into his eyes, and then after he feel fresh. Okay, so the memory of the daffodils fills his heart with joy, and he feels as if his heart were dancing with the daffodils. An impulse of feeling. Now the second point is impulse of feeling. What is this thing? Wordsworth had defined poetry as the spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling arising from the emotion recollected in tranquility. As the definition of William Wordsworth says that, continuous feeling, what is poetry according to him? So the continuous feeling, when he saw something, so the feeling which comes continuous while seeing the scene according to Wordsworth is that arise from our emotions. Suppose that if I have seen a tree in front of me, so while seeing the tree, the emotion comes into my mind and it is arousing continuously in a poetry form. Is a poetry by Wordsworth. Okay, so that feelings, that spontaneous feeling that arising from our emotion. What types of emotions I have when we see a tree or a beautiful nature. So whatever feelings will come, I will write the same, poetry form. So that is poetry according to him. So he wrote daffodils, and after getting inspired by the beauty of dancing flowers spread all over along the way. He recollected his feeling along the feeling of experiences and he wrote the poem he described. In the same way, what feeling he had, what emotions came onto his mind, he has written in this poetry form. Same it says us the poem tells us that the impressions of the beauty of nature were so strong that even after many years, their memory was more than enough to lighten his mood and gave him their company when he was alone in his room. So that he has described in a beautiful picture of daffodils, shining waves, dancing flowers, which become a part of his being. So now that emotions, which was recollected in a forms of words, and that comes in a form of impulsive feeling, and he has written all his mind. Now come towards the question answer. In the first stanza, now be ready for giving answers, students. I will ask you, who has been referred as I in the first poem in the extract, where do you think he was wandering? So, very easy answer. As you know that the poet himself is the this easy question. I'm not going to ask one line answer. That the poet was being referred as I wandered. The poet himself is talking about where do you think he was wandering? So, as a cloud, I floats on high the vales and hills. So, that is vales and hills. It's clear. What does the poet encounter while wandering? Where does he wandering them? So, what does the poet? Uh, which question? What does the poet encounter while? So he encountered what the flowers, the daffodils, and where does they? They were beside the lake, beneath the trees, like that. You will see. Okay. Now the next question. Why do you think the poet referred daffodils as golden? Now this question is good to ask. Okay. Why do you think that the poet refers the daffodils as golden? Okay, who will tell this answer? Ankit Gupta, 9th B. Ankit, what happened? Okay, Aditya Prajapati.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Aditya. That is
Hello.
afternoon. Afternoon. Good afternoon.
Okay, sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, sorry, ma'am, because I muted before yesterday because something was wrong in my mobile.
Okay, no problem.
Ma'am, which question here, ma'am? Some network problem
Okay,
here.
I'm asking
Ma'am,
that why do you think the poet refers to the daffodils as golden?
daffodil is golden. Means the daffodils were yellow and they were shining in the sun like gold.
Okay. See, Aditya, okay, so there are a little problem in your answer. Things are some your sense is correct, but the way you're saying is somewhere incorrect. So we'll ask you any other, they will give. Try to listen them. Sanskar.
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Sanskar.
Good afternoon, ma'am. What is the question?
Why do you think the poet refers to the daffodils as the golden?
Ma'am, the daffodils color is yellow and the sunlight reflects on the daffodils. So this is the poet refers the daffodils as a golden.
See, correct. The daffodil flowers are yellow and therefore comparable to gold in its memory, as it has the yellow color, as you both of you have told. So that is why it is a thing which can be, compared to the sun. Moreover, the flowers lend the poet as a kind of golden memory and bring him joy and happiness. So these things somewhere compared with the joy and happiness as well. And he cherishes his lonely moments. That is why daffodils are called golden. Two things we will mention that why, as it is golden in color, yellow in color, and also it have somewhere related the memory, golden memory of the writer, which gives him joy, happiness, pleasure, and
Yes, ma'am.
makes him cheer, refreshes his mind. So that is why these things are to be compared as golden daffodils. Clear? No.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Sanskar, you can mute yourself. Discuss the importance of the following lines with the reference to the poem. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Tanvi Singh.
Hello.
Yes, Tanvi.
Yes. Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am,
Afternoon.
these lines tells about the beautiful daffodils.
Hmm.
Ma'am, these lines tells about the beautiful daffodils, and ma'am, the poet sees the daffodils growing along the margin of the way, and ma'am, they appear like dancing and fluttering in the breeze.
Hmm.
Hello.
See, you have to somewhere giving the importance of the scene. So there are something you have to say in this answer. This answer is not very easy. See that these lines expresses. If you want to note it down, please somewhere you can. The point key feature you have to note of this answer. The lines expresses the pleasant encounter of the poet. Pleasant encounter of the poet with the daffodils by a lake. First of all, so once the poet was wandering pointlessly. Okay. He was wandering pointlessly beside the lake. He was all alone to wander freely, akin to a patch of sudden clouds floating in the sky. So, description all over the scene you have to say here. That is why it becomes the importance of that scene. See, and then after, over the valleys and the hills, suddenly he could view the large number of daffodils gathered by the side of the lake, and they were sheltered under a growing tree beneath the tree. So they were sheltered under the growing tree, and the airy breeze made them wave and dance. And he enjoys the scene, and as it shows that they were also enjoying and playing between themselves. So that is why these types of thing, what he had observed, what he had seen, you have to write in your answer. Okay. Which figure of speech is used in the following lines? How many daffodils do you think the poet saw? Give a reason of your answer. Very easy question. Okay. Ayush Mishra. Ayush.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, Ayush.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you repeat the question?
Which figure of question number last of the same stanza you can see?
Ma'am, the line is hyperbole. And the poet saw a host of daffodils, which
See
means
the
that
line
they were.
first of all. When at all once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Read the line and then say.
When I saw, ma'am, this line is used as a hyperbole. Ma'am, it is an exclamation of idea, ma'am.
See, which word is showing exaggeration? Which word?
Ma'am, host of
No,
golden
just now
daffodils.
in the previous class I explained host is what? Where you were in that class?
Ma'am, no, ma'am, that line is personification.
Personification. So here the figure of speech use personification. See, 10,000. Where the line 10,000 I saw in a glance, at a glance was there, no? So then that
Yes,
line was given as a hyperbole as you told. So when at all I saw a crowd, or the crowd can be a host of golden daffodils. That can be answered. Okay, what
yes,
give the reason of your answer? So he
ma'am.
said 10,000.
It has an expression, hyperbolic expression.
Hyperbolic expression. Yes, very good. You can say that the poet,
He
however, could not estimate that
might
their
have seen a
uh,
number of crowd of them.
number of numbers as they spread along the extensive side, and they were they were spread the extensive size towards the lake. So that is why that extensive side are to be used as a emphasis way. So that is why
Yes,
is hyperbolic way is used here. But when there is the line asks 10,000
a
I saw, then definitely you have to write there hyperbole.
personification.
Hyperbole. A
Acha,
host of
yes, ma'am.
where you find the line a host of golden daffodil, write in your answer
Yes, ma'am.
personification. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So which the next question? Okay, here that was the last question. Question number first of second stanza. Briefly, first is what? How are the daffodils compared to the stars? So the same you will that is easy question. No need of discussion. For when we're talking about stars, so that also twinkling in the sky and then looking beautiful as the daffodils is the same. So that was easy question. Briefly describe musical quality to the extract. Musical quality is the that is important question. What is the musical quality of this stanza? Who will give me this answer? After that, there was a question, what do you mean by the margin of the bay? Then state how the technique of using exaggeration highlights the poetic effect in that extract. And what is the Milky Way? Why it is being referred in that extract? These answers. And then the last, from 3, how did daffodils outdo the waves? Musical quality, I will ask to Dhruv Srivastava. Yes, Dhruv. Dhruv, are you listening me? He has left the class maybe. So Aditya Prajapati, you tell.
Hello,
Yes,
ma'am. The Daffodils is a lyric poem.
very good. First of all,
And
you
we
will add Daffodil by William Wordsworth is itself a lyrical poetry with full of musical. Just now in the previous class, I explained, the word lyric has been taken from the word lyre, which means to be sung. And where is song, there is some musical quality. So as it is a lyric poem, it has full of musical elements in it. First of all, then the musical quality of this poem extract, we can see that the dance of the daffodils, like we use tossing their heads, we will write that line, tossing their heads, in which writing can see the dance of the daffodils, and they were swaying movements of the daffodils in the breeze when the air blows, so that movements can be seen in the dancing form. So that was the musical elements, musical quality is used by poet. So here the time is up, 12:15 is now going on. Some questions are left, students. We will discuss this question in the next class. One more class will be taking for the same form, and after that we will discuss some first term course and second term course also. We will discuss, as this is the final exam, so things somewhere be larger for you. Hana? So try to study the portion what we have earlier finished. Thank you, class.
thank you, ma'am.